starts now with a severe weather alert.
And we are going to come on the air and stay on the air with you for a while. We now have the tornado watch issued by the Storm Prediction Center. And here we go. And let me just point out there is one warning over here. But before we get to that, this is a PDS tornado watch. And whenever we say PDS, that means this is a particularly dangerous situation. These are issued often when you have either a moderate or a high risk, as defined by the Storm Prediction Center. That means within the tornado watch, there could be a few long track, strong tornadoes this afternoon and this evening. And you can see the watch extends as far south as Sumter, Green, Hale, Tuscaloosa, Bibb, Chilton, Coosa, Clay, and Randolph counties in central Alabama, then counties north to the Tennessee state line. Charles, this is in effect until
11 p.m.
11 o'clock tonight. So this is going to run for a while. So this is a tornado watch between now and 11 o'clock tonight. It's going to be a long night. Again, I stress that this is mid-April. This is the core of the tornado season, and things like this happen fairly often. This is when we expect events like this, March, April, May. So this is not unprecedented. This is not unusual. There's no need to be fearful. We get this time of the year, but you have to pay very close attention, especially when parameters come together like this. And you can see for the moment the radar quiet except for two hail producers, one near the Tennessee state line and this one that's south of Interstate 20. Let's take a look at this. This thing has produced a lot of hail on its journey through parts of East Alabama. This came across the city of Talladega. It scooted past the town of Munford, and it dropped a lot of hail up on top of Mount Cheaha. Unfortunately, our Skycam is down up there, but we have reports of golf ball-sized hail at Cheaha State Park. The hail core is crossing US 431, and I will say the storm is weaker. The core of this not as high as what we saw about 15 to 20 minutes ago. Perhaps the mountain had something to do with it. For those that don't know, Cheaha is the highest mountain in the state. The elevation up there is 2,407 feet, but that's come on across the mountain. It's kind of hugging the Randolph-Clay County line, and so far this has been staying south of Interstate 20. It looked like for a while it might get up along the interstate, which is right up in here. That's, of course, the main highway between Birmingham and Atlanta, but it looks like this is kind of veering somewhat to the right of the mean upper flow, and that's keeping it south of Interstate 20. So we have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for the southern part of Cleburne County. This is going to be for areas south of Interstate 20. The northern part of Randolph County, basically areas north of Wedowee, is that will ultimately move over into Georgia pretty quickly. These things are moving at a fairly rapid clip today. So let's go to the high-resolution radar. Monroe, if you could do that real quick. We have multiple radars that we can use here. This is going to be the one that's over on WEXO 5. And I wanted to show you the hail core within this. Again, Heflin is here, Interstate 20 is right here, and that's still probably some pretty large hail. This is a little higher resolution, and I want to go to a product called Vertical Integrated Liquid, which is often the best way product that we have to show hail, and I bet you're going to see some white. Okay, it's not maxed out. That's a good thing. This was maxed out on the scale not that long ago, but this is suggesting we currently have VIL values in the 50 kilogram per cubic meter range, and that's probably maybe quarter size or so, and that's going to keep on kind of hugging this county line. Again, this is Cleburne County, and this is Randolph County, so that is a hail-producing thunderstorm there. Let's go to our live stream. I want to go to Brian Peters if we can. Brian is out in this. And other than these hailers, we are in an odd situation where we just sit back and we wait and we watch. Brian, how many times over the years have we done this?
I don't know how many times it is, James, and I don't really care. I hate doing it.
Yeah, it's not fun. And of course, the other thing at this phase of the game, this is when everybody tells us, we're nitwits. It's a sunny day. You clowns don't know what you're talking about. But look, we're used to that. But the fact that it's sunny, first off, tell us exactly where you are, Brian, and what you've got there.
Okay, James, I'm on I-22. I'm actually sitting at the exit ramp for exit 39. And right now, looking to my west, oh, wow, it has really begun to clear out very nicely. And I know on satellite image, we've been watching a lot of these thin breaks or thin spots in the clouds and breaks where the sun is beaming through. Right now, I'm sitting here with a temperature of 75 degrees, and I haven't measured the dew point just in the last few minutes, but the last time I measured it was in the mid-60s. So everything is certainly coming together. But as you noted about us waiting, it looks like things may be just a little bit later than what we kind of anticipated.
Right. And again, initiation should happen fairly soon, Brian. We got several things at play. We have a shortwave trough coming in from the west. That's going to add to the upward motion and we'll start to see these towers going up. But really, I don't see any buildups around you, at least on your camera shot there. Looks like those are pretty flat clouds.
You're absolutely right. When I was coming up I-22 earlier today, I went through a little shower that was the one that they issued the severe thunderstorm warning on earlier this afternoon. And, wow, I have not seen some rainfall like that in quite a while. It was really down to maybe a couple of 100 feet in visibility. So the atmosphere certainly has a lot of moisture in it, especially down low, James.
Okay, Brian, thank you. We're going to be checking back with you shortly. Want to go to some images, and again, this will be coming off WEXO 5, Monroe. These are shots from earlier today. I love this shot. This was taken from a passenger on a commercial jet departing Birmingham Shuttlesworth International Airport. And this was taken, I'd say, about 1:30 this afternoon. At that point, we had these big buildups, and some of these did blossom into storms. And these storms earlier in the day did produce some hail. In fact, here are some of the images coming in. You can see that school. That is Harvest Elementary School. You can see the sign right here. This is in Madison County near Huntsville. And what you see out here, that is hail. Hail covered the ground, and you've got that fog that's produced when you've got a large hail field down like this on a day like today. But so far, that's what these storms have been doing today. We had one tornado warning that was in effect for parts of Colbert County, but I've heard of no damage from that. That storm developed right on the warm front that's moving up through North Alabama. And again, this is some hail up in the Tennessee Valley this afternoon. That's what it looks like, and I'm afraid we're going to see a lot of this in coming hours. Based on the projected soundings, the forecast soundings, we could see hailstones up to the size of baseballs or tennis balls later today with any storm that forms. So just be aware that this is going to be a multiple threat type situation with the chance of this large hail and damaging winds and the possibility of a few tornadoes. Let's go back to the radar, Charles. I want to keep that East Alabama storm kind of in focus here because that is basically the one storm in our viewing area that we're watching, and this thing is going to be in Georgia fairly soon. It is hugging the county line between Clay and Randolph. There's no evidence of any storm rotation here, and this will be in Georgia fairly soon. But one question, we'll try and go through some questions. And again, here's the plan of the day. At the top of the hour at 4 o'clock, we are going to go through Focus at 4. That's our regularly scheduled newscast at 4 o'clock. We're going to stay here until 4. At 4, we'll do Focus at 4. We'll have the regular ABC programming at 5:30, World News Tonight. We'll come back and do all of our regular local newscast, assuming we have no tornado warnings. Now, when the tornado warnings begin, we will focus on weather and go on the air and stay on the air with that. But again, this is just basically a 30-minute segment to let you know what to expect this evening. One question, and I say one question, I probably have had hundreds of these today. When will the storm arrive in my town, in East Aboga, in Clanton, in Oxford, in Jasper, wherever? And on a day like this, these things are going to go up in a random place. And there's not going to be just this organized line that comes through that we can give you an arrival time. We have to give you windows when we have these cellular random storms like this. So the window is basically between now and 11 o'clock. That's the duration of this tornado watch. And during that stretch, during that 4.5-hour stretch, you can basically have, what did I say, 4 hours? That's 8 hours. Or 7.5 hours. We haven't slept much. This is going to, I'll tell you now, this is going to be, because Charles has had the flu. And Charles you're okay. You're working on most cylinders now.
Right.
I've got a little bit of jet lag going here, but again, the bottom line is we're going to get through this, and we will be at the top of our game during the duration of this. So, but again, these things will be going up in random places. We cannot give you a specific arrival time for any one given point here. Just be aware they could develop at any place at any time between now and 11 o'clock tonight. Going to take a break. We're going to come back as we continue our coverage in just a second, in 45 seconds here, of this severe weather event that is just now beginning to initiate. That's the storm up in the Tennessee Valley. This thing produced a lot of hail up around Harvest and Hazel Green up in Madison County north of Huntsville. And again, many images of those shots of hail have been coming in this afternoon. And I'm afraid we're going to see a lot more of that in coming hours. And if you would like to send us images, we'd love for you to do that. Your camera phone, it's our window to the world. Hit me up on Twitter. My last name is Spann, S-P-A-N-N. You can hit me there, Facebook, email, whatever you'd like to do. See it, send it on the ABC 3340 app. So we will be watching for your images, plus all the live streams coming in from the chasers out in the field. Now we'll take a break. We will be right back as our weather coverage continues. Don't go away. We're back. It's 3:44, and again, at the top of the hour at 4 o'clock, we're going to start Focus at 4, but we're going to sit back and try and answer some questions, okay? about what you should be doing now to prepare for what could be a very active night. We hope, Charles, how many times have we said this? Nothing happens. It's a bust.
I would love to have a bust.
Wouldn't it be great to have the radar just sitting like that the whole time?
Yeah, if it stayed like this, I'd be just fine with it. You can make fun of our forecast all you want because that means everybody would be safe tonight. That's what we hope for.
Right. However, we all know that there's a good chance that won't happen. We've been watching this for days, and it looks as though meteorological conditions were to come together for severe storms, and they are all there. You've got lift, which is from an approaching shortwave trough. You have instability, that's the buoyancy of the air, the ability of air parcels to rise freely. We have that today. And then we have veering of the wind with altitude. That's that shear, and those three things come together at the right place at the right time, maybe with a small-scale boundary kicked in here, and that could set the stage for some fairly rough storms, and we expect that tonight. And again, the guys at SPC late this morning decided to upgrade the risk from enhanced to moderate. We have 5 risk levels. The lowest end risk is marginal. The highest end risk is high. Moderate is 4 out of 5. That's right under high, and we now have a moderate risk up here for about the northern part of Alabama, from Birmingham back up to Huntsville in the Tennessee state line. But again, for now, things are relatively quiet. The next question, Charles, people say, hey, why is there a tornado watch? I checked my radar app and there's nothing on there. Even in Mississippi, often you can see a big batch of storms approaching from the west, but in this case, the storms will initiate right on top of us. What you're going to start to see are small showers popping up within a matter of 10, 15 minutes. Instead of a small shower, you got a thunderstorm, and maybe 10 minutes later, you've got a severe storm that's rotating, dropping large hail, and possibly a tornado. They will go very quickly when they go, and the issue is we don't exactly know where they pop. Anybody within this watch area is certainly in play here. Now, if you're down to the south of this watch, you could see some severe weather too, but the tornado threat is not as high down across the southern half of the state. So I think this is a well-placed watch. Conditions are there. Now we sit back and we wait and we watch, and we have done this over and over and over. We got a lot of streams in here. In fact, this is one of the streams we have from one of our storm chasers up in Cullman County, and let's see here, Charles. We got a little shower up there. It looks like I'm trying to look at your radar.
Cullman there, we can zoom in tight. That's
These are small showers,
yeah.
Right? So. If we can maybe double box, and again, Naral, I'm going to probably make Naral's head explode tonight. We're going to do a double box with me and the radar, and then the chase video. And once we get into this, the object of the game is not to be looking at me or Charles. We want you to see what's happening in the world, because we have learned you tend to react a little better when we've got things happening. And if we can put that Cullman video on one of those, Naral, there we go. So you got Cullman in the upper left, and you got Bryan's shot down there in the lower left. And again, the Cullman shot, we've got rain showers. Understand, these are not severe. They're basically nothing more than moderate rain showers in Cullman County. So we have no warnings in effect here. And
what
again,
happens is the radar data dropped out for a second. That's from Birmingham, though. There
right,
we go.
Okay,
New
right. We can see these showers here. That's Interstate 65. You got Good Hope down here. So this thing is basically coming across Good Hope down around the school complex, the high school, the elementary school, and that'll be scooting across I-65 coming into Cullman. And Elisa, I think this guy's at, the Walmart in Cullman? Correct me, okay, at the Walmart in Cullman. So he's over here on the other side of I-65. Downtown Cullman is sitting right here. And again, I'm telling you, you have to watch these little showers when they pop up like this, because before you know it, they can be 30, 40, 50,000 feet, producing large hail, strong winds, and again, they could start to rotate. And so we're going to watch these carefully, but for now, this seems to be a fairly harmless shower, but it seems to be getting stronger. That'll be crossing I-65, and again, that is the shot you see in the upper left. We've got Brian Peters along Interstate 22. He's down there in the lower left, and we've got many other spotters in the field today. John Brown, who is our legendary spotter, he is out in the field today, and we'll get John's stream going here in just a second. But so far, there's just not that much to show you. But as things begin to kick in, we'll kind of get the focus off the radar, and we'll show you that, of course. Certainly, that's important, but we know that you tend to react a little better when you actually see this stuff. Now, the problem we have, once the sun goes down, we can't do that. It's a lot harder to show tornadoes live on television at night. You have to wait for lightning to illuminate them, and that can be a fairly hard thing to do. If we can, Charles, let's pop that risk area. I wanted to show the latest convective outlook. The guys at SPC have probably updated their outlook again. They update multiple times a day, and I would imagine there are no changes in the afternoon outlook. The convective outlook is reissued again about 3 o'clock, and again, you can see we have a moderate risk of severe storms for North Alabama, from Birmingham up to the Tennessee state line. The moderate risk is the higher risk, and this is where the greatest chance of the longer track tornadoes will be. This includes Anniston, Gadsden, Birmingham, Aniana, Cullman, Arab, Cedar Bluff, Galesville, Fort Payne, Haleyville, Jasper, Good Hope. It includes Moulton, Guin, Winfield, Hamilton, Russellville, the Shoals, basically the northern part of the state. But keep in mind that is an enhanced risk down here to Tuscaloosa, Clanton, Dadeville, Lake Martin, Auburn, Opelika. And even within that enhanced risk, we certainly could have a few tornadoes later this evening as well. And then down in the slight risk, which is the standard risk, we can't rule out the chance of a tornado as far south as southeast Alabama. So there's going to be a lot of stuff going on here. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back with much more weather as this special severe weather report continues on ABC 3340. It is now 3:52. I'm James Spann back in the Weather Center. And again, you're looking at multiple sources here. We got radar. And if you're just joining us, we have one storm, Charles. Let's check our storm moving into Georgia. This is basically out of our market. Cleburne and Randolph counties are in the Atlanta television market. We don't make those assignments. That's based on viewing habits of people within the county. But a storm with still possibly some large hail is kind of hugging the Cleburne County line in East Alabama. That's moving on to the east. That'll be in Georgia fairly soon. That's Interstate 20 right here. And really, once this thing gets out of the state, there's nothing going on. But we do note, let's take Brian Peters full screen. Brian is on Live View Remote 11. And Brian, you're seeing a distant tower over northeast Mississippi from your vantage point, right?
That's correct, James. I'm about 26 miles southwest of Hamilton right now. Pardon me. I'm 26 miles southeast of Hamilton, and my camera is looking to the west-northwest, and all of what you see on the clouds on the horizon is that mini line that is developing just to the west of Tupelo. So those storms are developing. They must be pretty high, though, because they're 90 miles from my location. Just kind of amazing that we have such good visibility today.
Yeah, again, that is a very interesting view. You got this blue sky, and it's a beautiful sunny day, and then you've got these thunderstorm towers going up in random places. So, Brian, let's go back to our triple box. Charles, I want to see that storm that's kind of sitting down there at the southern tip of Smith Lake. We're going to watch these carefully, and again, we are going to start the focus at 4 at the top of the hour at 4 o'clock. But we got to watch these things. This thing is basically, like I told you, this is what I was telling you 5 minutes ago. These things develop and they blow up very quickly. And before you know it, they're producing hail. Before you know it, they're rotating. And before you know it, we might have a problem here. So we're just watching this storm. And again, this is down here near the Smith Lake Dam. This is the far southern end of Smith Lake. That's Alabama Highway 69 that runs from Jasper back up to Good Hope. This is down around Arkadelphia and Wilburn and Bug Tussle. And that will be crossing into southern Cullman County. It's not severe right now, but these things we have to watch. And again, if you've watched our coverage over the years, you've seen these situations where you kind of wait and all of a sudden, boom, they're there. And that's going to be the case today. So we're going to keep a close eye on that storm. But again, because these will be random, and nobody knows at this moment where they're going to pop up, we can't give you an ETA for any one specific location, for any one town or one city. Just be aware there is a window of opportunity between now and 11 o'clock tonight for severe storms that will be capable of producing large hail, possibly the size of golf balls or tennis balls, damaging straight line winds, and a few tornadoes. And beyond that, you just have to pay attention. And the key things we want you to do, number one, be sure you can hear these warnings. Now, if you're watching us and if you're set, then you're good to go. You are with us. But if you have to leave or if you can't watch, be sure you've got a NOAA weather radio. That's the baseline. Everybody should have one in their home or a business. And then have a good smartphone app that's designed to warn you. These phones come with wireless emergency alerts enabled. Some people turn them off, but in theory, you get tornado warnings automatically. But we still like for people to have a good app that's designed for warning. I see the Weather Service. In fact, I just see here the Weather Service is issuing a severe thunderstorm warning for Jackson County up in northeast Alabama for this storm. And this thing has really produced a lot of hail up in the Tennessee Valley at places like Harvest and Hazel Green. And that storm is kind of hugging the Alabama-Tennessee state line well to the north of here. That's up in the Huntsville television market. And again, let's check our storm in East Alabama, Charles. All right, man. That's okay. We're going to get through this night. Here we go. This is almost on the Georgia state line. This is the Georgia state line. You got Cleburne County, Randolph County, This is the state of Georgia, okay? That's Interstate 20 is up here. Ranburne is right here. Again, this storm is not as strong as it was about 15 or 20 minutes ago, but still it's capable of producing some fairly large hail. We have a severe thunderstorm warning remaining in effect for the southern part of Cleburne, the northern part of Randolph for this storm. We're going to take a very quick break. We will not go anywhere. We're going to come back with more weather and the start of Focus at 4 as ABC 3340 special weather coverage continues.
ABC 3340 News starts now with a severe weather alert.
And be prepared and be weather aware. A long night is ahead of us. Temperatures are in the 70s this afternoon as storms enter the state. That does not bode well for this evening. Good afternoon to you. I'm Christopher Sine.
And I'm Pam Huff. Alabama's chief meteorologist James Spann, of course, is here. James, the risk for severe weather across central Alabama actually increased earlier this afternoon.
Yes, the Storm Prediction Center upgraded the risk for the northern part of the state to moderate. That's level 4 out of level 5. The areas you see here in red. An enhanced risk goes down through parts of central Alabama. We have a tornado watch in effect now. This was issued about 30 minutes ago. This tornado watch includes basically the northern half of the state until 11 o'clock tonight. All the counties you see here in yellow, as far south as Sumter, Greene, Hale, Perry, Chilton, Coosa, Clay, and Randolph, and then counties up to the Tennessee state line. Storms will begin to initiate across this region over the next hour or so. They'll be fairly random in nature. There's not going to be a line or an organized batch of storms, and you can see now things are relatively quiet, although we do have some showers in progress, and we have one warning on the eastern side of the state. We'll take a look at our storm that's moving into Georgia out of Cleburne and Randolph counties. This is where Georgia, Cleburne, and Randolph counties all come together, and this storm has been weakening. This did produce some fairly large hail in parts of northern Talladega County. It produced golf ball-sized hail up at Chehaw State Park, and again, that's about to exit the state going over into Georgia. Now, we have a whole lot of chasers in the field today and spotters. One of them is our own Brian Peters. And Brian, tell us where you are and what you've got. It looks fairly sunny where you are right now.
Oh, it is absolutely beautiful. I'm trying to get a little shot to the northwest, but trees and some clouds, some low clouds are in my way here. But the storms that we pointed out just a few minutes ago on this live stream, those thunderstorms are about 75 miles away, and those actually have already had severe thunderstorm warnings initiated for them. So as you say, James, things are beginning to happen this afternoon.